This is Kugan Cassius for IFL TV. We're in Las Vegas here at the Hard Rock Casino. With me, I've got cruiserweight professional boxer BJ Flores. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
That's all right, no problem. Just been spending a lot of time with David Haye recently. He's been spending a lot of time out here. A lot of speculation going on back home about what he's doing. Are you going to tell us anything about David Haye?
I really don't have much to say. He's trying to get back in. He's ready to come back in November, December, and you know, stay tuned. He's an exciting fighter, so it's. I think it'll be good for the heavyweight division. But that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I don't have any information on him. You know, that's his business. Whenever he's ready to announce it, I'm sure we'll hear about it. And you know, it is what it is. So you know, it's going to be fun when he comes back, though.
Obviously, you're good friends. You train with David.
Yeah. He's. We've known each other since the amateurs, and you know, he was the heavyweight champion for Great Britain, and I was the heavyweight champion for America. And we saw each other at tournaments, maybe heard about each other, and then we kind of finally met in Miami. A little ways later, he was getting ready to fight Mormick or something like that. But I've always admired David. He's a good fighter. He's very tough, and he's a funny guy. So we have fun training and working out and everything, and it's good motivation.
Have you sparred with him?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I was with him in camp before the John Ruiz fight.
Right.
And you know, that's when he just had won the title from Valuev, and that was a very important defense. He kind of took off a little bit after that, but that was his first heavyweight title defense in England, and you know, went well. So you know, his team his entire group, they're very professional, and I've learned a lot from them. So it's been nice to have be around a world champion like that.
How many fights have you had? 27, is it?
I'm 30-1 with 20 knockouts. Yeah.
Right. Okay. You suffered one defeat to Danny Green back in, when was that,
2009.
And 9.
Yeah.
That was for the IBO title, but that's been your only defeat you've suffered. Are you happy with the way that your career has gone?
No. I feel like my career so far has not even really started since I signed with Al Haymon a few weeks ago. I feel like now it's really gonna take off. So I'm excited to be, you know, with a manager who can finally get me the type of fights that I've always wanted. That's very exciting for me, and I just think that you know, I'm in the right place at the right time. I mean, it's not always on my time where I want things, and you know, as far as the Danny Green fight goes, like I said, it was a long time ago. I've learned a lot since then. Best of luck to him, and I'm moving forward.
What do you make of the current world cruiserweight scene at the moment? Obviously, we've got Marco Huck and Hernandez, and you know, what do you think of these guys?
I think they're great fighters. They're very good. Marco's very tough. Got some debatable, very close decisions that he probably shouldn't have won, but you know, fighting in Germany gets the benefit of the doubt on all those. The fight with Lebedev, the fight with Arslan, no question about those fights. You know, he could have lost either one of those fights, but you know, he's been fighting the best opposition, and you know, you got to give him props for that. Hernandez is very good. You know, Lebedev is very good. All those guys are good. Volodarczyk is very good. They're all good champions. They're champions for a reason. So, you know, I think I'm impressed with all of them.
Two of our former light heavyweight fighters in Nathan Cleverly and Tony Bellew are now campaigning at cruiserweight. They've both had 2 fights apiece. Do you take any notice of what our domestic scene back home on the cruiserweight division?
I mean, this was very interesting to me because Tony Bellew, I was trying quite hard right when he moved up to cruiserweight to get a fight with him, and you know, I was pretty active on Twitter trying to call him out and get a fight. And you know, he's got the fight with Nathan Cleverly now, but I'll be very, very eager to see who wins the fight. And you know, I think it's just a great fight. Whoever wins that fight, I got a fight coming up in October. I think they're fighting in November. Whoever wins that fight, I would love to face. I think it makes a very interesting matchup. Neither one of them have proven anything at cruiserweight, have done anything. Bellew more than Cleverly though, because he just beat a guy who's, you know, fairly tough in Junior Dos Santos, but still both guys very unproven in the cruiserweight division, moving up. Oh, I'm going to be champion, I can't wait to fight. Well, let's fight a couple more. Let's not get too excited just yet. You know, let's fight a couple real contenders before we go right into that reigning the next cruiserweight star in the cruiserweight division. So I'll be very available, either one of those guys. I'd love either one of those fights. And like I said, I mean, I have no problem going over there and fighting Bellew or Cleverly. You know, I think with both of their last losses, they both have a lot of questions regarding their chin, their stamina, a lot of things like that. And, you know, moving up 25 pounds isn't necessarily the right answer.
I don't know how much of their fights at cruiserweight you've seen, but from whatever you have seen, who do you think is better suited to that weight?
I favor Bellew in the fight with Cleverly. I really do. I just feel like, you know, I think Cleverly is going to come in. I beat him already one time, and I think Bellew probably was sucked down at 175, and I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he's probably the bigger puncher at that weight. You know, Cleverly's good too. He's a tough guy. He's going to be in good shape. But I mean, after that Kovalev loss, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he gets hit on the chin, because that was bad. It's not just like he got beat on a little decision. He got destroyed by Kovalev. And, you know, there's no shame in that. But, you know, we'll see what happens on the next fight, because it's going to be very interesting to see how Nathan Cleverly reacts when he gets hit on the chin. Will he have the flashbacks and the nightmares of the Kovalev fight, or will he have, you know, kind of learned to beat his demons?
They're both in kind of similar situations where they suffered, you know, quite demoralising defeats to two of the best light heavyweights there are in Stevenson and Kovalev. So, you know, and then they both took the decision straight after those defeats to move up to cruiserweight. So, like I said, it's a new era for them, and they're targeting world titles just like anyone else in their position. So, you know, whoever wins out of those two could go on to, you know, challenge for a world title possibly.
I mean, that's interesting to me, because I'm not sure how you beat. They both fight, you know, light heavyweight champions. They both move up, and they fight each other. And how does the winner go on to a world title? I don't get that. Like, it's confusing to me. Like, they both are coming off huge defeats, and they both move up, win an easy fight. Now they fight each other. I don't see how that qualifies you for a world title. I don't get that. So maybe someone can explain that to me. But I just don't see it. I think they got to beat a real guy at the division, at the new weight, instead of doing a rematch with each other. That doesn't create an atmosphere to qualify either guy for a world title.
I mean, since they've both moved up to cruiserweight, they've both had 2 fights apiece. They're scheduled to fight at some point this year. I don't know whether the winner of that will go on to fight for a world title. Maybe they'll have to fight a final eliminator or something, but it will put them in good stead or on the right path to challenging for a world title. I don't think it will happen in the next immediate fight. I very much doubt that, depending on what they're both promoted by Eddie Hearn, and depending on how he can deliver that. With whatever organisation, that's how pretty much that will go. But
it could, though, because, you know, I'll give it to them. I mean, they're both big draws. You know, Bellu's a big draw. You know, Wlodarczyk or one of those guys might look at Bellew and say, listen, yeah, I'll go in there and they'll pay me, Eddie will pay me a lot of money and I'll go in there and knock that guy. I mean, they could get the shot next, but it's just, you know, in boxing, if you sell tickets, you know, obviously you have a bigger draw, you should make more money. Those guys deserve the money they make for the draw they are, but to say they deserve a title shot, that's another story altogether. But I'm not saying they won't get the title shot for sure, because they both are big draws, and champions are looking for guys like that to go in there and fight. But to say they're qualified, like I said, they're headed in the right direction. It's a great domestic fight, I'll say that. It's a very good domestic fight. So
I remember the stuff on Twitter between you and Tony. I don't really know how it was sort of ended on Twitter. What was the response you were getting back from Tony about?
The response was all the Brits were saying that you know, Tony would knock me out, and all the Americans were saying that I'd knock Tony out. And you know what? People can talk all they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You don't know until you actually get in the ring. So, like I said, I respect all those guys. I think they're good fighters, but they're nothing great. And coming off losses like they're coming off of, it creates a lot of doubt. And I mean, I think it would be a very tough fight. But at the same time, it's one of those fights where there's a lot more questions about them than there is about me right now. So it's, as far as chin, size, new weight, all those different things, the jury's still out, we can say that.
In your opinion, who do you think you're better suited to beat from Nathan and Tony?
I don't care. I really don't. I mean, I think they're both good fighters. They're both tough. They're both very different styles, but I really don't care. I really don't care which one of the two I'd fight. Whoever wins, I would love to fight. I'm saying that. Guys, Nathan, Tony, whoever wins the fight, I want you next.
All right, well, listen, we can end it on that note. BJ, thanks for talking to IFL TV.
No
pleasure to meet you this week.
So
We've had a couple of nights out this week, and stone cold sober, I will add. Yeah, it's good to meet you and catch up with you. And like I said, we await news from David, whatever that may be, and then again. So, have you got a date for your next fight?
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be fighting mid-October. On a possible Showtime card. Not sure yet. We're trying to finalize it, but if it's not October 4th, it'll be sometime later in October, but I'm ready. I mean, I was at the track today running sprints. I'm doing plyometrics. I'm lifting with Dave, and I'm hitting. I'm punching already. So, I mean, I got to stay ready. At this stage of my career, I can't afford to, you know, be out of shape. I don't let myself get out of shape, and I'm going to be ready for whoever's next. And I'm looking forward to the Tony Bellew and Nathan Cleverly winner. I think it creates a very, very exciting fight, and a fight I would definitely like.
Okay. And if you're short of sparring partners, I'm available every now and again. Why are you laughing?
All right, fine. Glove up. Let's.
Benjamin, why are you laughing?
You can send the message firsthand what it's like. You can tell those guys what it's like to be hit by me. I'll see you on Monday.
I can assure you that Nathan and Tony will both watch this video. I can assure you that they'll watch this.
Good. I both want them to watch it. That's perfect. I want them both to watch it.
Well, listen, you're a gentleman, and like I said, Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully we'll catch up with you soon anyway.
Yes, sir. All right, cool.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you very much.